And coming to those, I think the customer conversations, of course, right now there's massive pull that we are seeing. Um, but in actual conversations, what are some of the apprehensions that you are hearing from customers in terms of adopting AI, and of course, in your context, more on the infra layer, around hallucinations, reliability, privacy? What are some of those questions that are being the tough questions that are being asked?
I think the bigger question that they ask us is why should I, again, because we only deal with open source models, why should I use open source models when OpenAI is releasing GPT-5, Anthropic is going to release the next model, Gemini is doing so well on their side. And I think there's some amount of education required where, again, these people might just be have a dogmatic mindset. Maybe for like a year, they might have had a dogmatic mindset thinking that I will, as a company, only bet on closed source and build on closed source because the models will be getting better. But then you have to then change the reference frame and be like, it's not closed versus open. It's about where open source shines, which is your stable use cases. Your stable use cases are not getting better just because OpenAI is releasing a new deep research model, or Claude is releasing or Anthropic is releasing a new Claude model that can create database schemas from scratch and is the best coding model out there. Your customer support bot is not changing, or your transcription pipelines are not changing because there's a new text to speech model that Gemini has released. Your transcription pipeline still messes up on Indian accent, or still messes up on European accents, or is messing up on catching the SSN numbers when you are building insurance agents. Those are the things you should solve for rather than being dogmatic of closed versus open. Look at the problem and then figure out the infra. Same thing. Look at the SLA, then figure out the API. Look at the problem, then figure out the model and orchestration behind it, rather than saying that I I as a company will only do what I'm getting offered by this specific model on this specific API because I'm an Azure partner, I'm on AWS, whatever it might be. So I think that education takes time. Of course, in many cases we fail. It doesn't go to a second call also because we just realize that they are just too hung up on it. In those scenarios, we just know that 6 months later they'll anyway face the problem and come back. Um, and in the areas where they're a bit more open to talk about it, I think it's some amount of education, brainstorming on how they can orchestrate it. Truly, because it's not their fault. They don't spend 100 hours a week or 150 hours a week just figuring out infra day in, day out. They have their problems to solve. So you have to come in with that insight and probably help them out. And that's what we are putting out. Like, there's that empathy for that customer also. Plus, we also have that opinionated nature where we know that whatever they're saying, take it with a pinch of salt because they're not spending as much time on infra. They might want something, but is it actually what they want? It's the same Henry Ford thing. They might want faster horses when you can give them cars. Why not give them cars?
How do you kind of address concerns around reliability of your platform itself? I mean, you're still kind of an early stage company, seed stage, right? I mean, these are all, you're orchestrating multiple models, really hitting the
Yeah.
final business use case, right? So it's a
Yep.
very fairly critical, mission critical kind of layer of their infrastructure.
Yeah. I think we do as much as we can on our end. Like we test every GPU, every model enough. We have our own internal load testing pipelines for each API. We call it bench press. We kind of go ahead and run benchmarks on how much can the model push, how much can the GPU push before it crashes. And we do as much as we can. But again, if things fail, at that point, you just need to make sure that you have a good enough relationship and they trust you. I think it's the same thing. Microsoft or AWS might have this most stable infrastructure. They don't have the best performances, most optimized infrastructure, and they'll not give you the kind of support and help, and they'll not work with you like they're your own team. I think those things outweigh the fact that an incumbent might have tested something over millions of hours of GPU compute, and we have only tested it for thousands of hours of GPU compute. So I think it's the chicken and egg problem with the startup. There has to be somebody who has to adopt it. They might have early feedback. Just give them some benefit on support, give them benefits on prices, give them early access to things. Um, because they help you build it out for the next stage of customers that you want to go after.